Now it's a good cup of joe. Hello, and welcome back to episode 2 of Perusing the Pages. I'm your host, Paige, and today, I don't know if you can tell, but we are going to be talking about Star Trek. No. We're going to be talking about Harry Potter and my thoughts and opinions after 20 years. The first Harry Potter book, right here, came out in 1998, and the last one came out in 2007. So these books were coming out before I was born and then right after I was born. The movies, however, first one came out in 2001, 2002. The last one came out in 2011. The movies were my jam. That was my thing. I was big on those. I did grow up reading the books, as you can tell from my collection. Every person in my family has their own set of Harry Potter books, and I even have the illustrated ones because I'm just that much better than everybody else. I grew up reading the books. My mom used to read the books to me at night. She would read to me and my brother, and those were our bedtime stories, reading a chapter of Harry Potter. I also grew up watching the movies, so I'm very, very familiar with everything here. So every year I used to do a yearly reread of my beautiful Harry Potter books. Currently, I am rereading all the books. No, not rereading. I'm reading all the books in Spanish for the very first time ever. So that's very fun. I do have a Spanish set of Harry Potter that I keep in my classroom. So as you can tell, I'm familiar with Harry Potter. And after 20 years, I want to decide and talk with you a little bit and see, is it still worth it, or is it just my childhood? But for reasons that I will not be elaborating on, here are my reviews of each book. And just so you know, these are the correct opinions. You don't get a vote. You're not in front of a camera. Number 1, it's very magical, it's very cute, right? It's meant for 10-year-olds, but it's a great book. 4 out of 5, this introduces the world to you. It's darling. Number 2, bigger world, right? We have expanding themes here. We're returning to Hogwarts. We have bigger problems. We don't get introduced to the main big bad guy, but we get introduced to a huge plot point that'll come in later at the 7th book. This one is still meant for kids. It is my least favorite, 2.5 out of 5. For the giant spider and the creepy little house elf, who, as a child, terrified me. Number 3, best teacher. I'm sorry, best one here. Best teacher has the coolest plot lines. You get so much more. We're expanding Hogwarts, expanding classes, getting more fun things in here. Best one has a little bit more personality, a little bit more flavor, right? We like it. 5 out of 5. This is a great one. Highly recommend number 3. Number 4. I can tell he's a teenager. 14-year-old sassy Harry coming into play. Very cool world building. We do open up the world to the Beauxbatons and the Durmstrangs, which, fun fact, when I was a kid, I didn't understand that Beauxbatons was French, and so I called it Beauxbaxtons. Don't know why the X is not in that place in that word, but that's what I called it. The Ministry of Magic is interesting, but again, it's government. Who really cares about government? It's kind of boring. Boring subplots. I do not care about those subplots in here. I understand that they're important. Yada, yada. They bore me. The best scene that we get from the movies. That's my boy! My son! So good. If you don't understand that, you're not part of the cool kids club. Number 5. Whiny, 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 whiny. Oh my gosh, he's 15 and you can tell. I was bad at 15 and 16, but I pray I was not this bad. So angsty boy. And which is unfortunate because this is the biggest one. This is the fattest Harry Potter book, and there's so much annoying, whiny, self-complaining crap in here about Harry. I don't care. I don't care about his 15-year-old problems. I get it. It's about the end of the world. I don't care. But it does have the best villain. So, Umbridge, 10 out of 10 villain. You hate her so much, which is why she's such a good villain. Love her as a villain, not as a person. Also, really love Dumbledore's army. Love the combat club the fight club that they make in here. Super cool. amazing, but still not my favorite, so 3 out of 5. Number 6, the romance. It's amazing. It is so minimal because it's for kids, but it's so good. 16-year-old Paige loved it. Not super big fan of the obsession that we have with Draco in this book. I just don't understand the Draco obsession in general. That's a whole nother side plot we don't have time to get into. But Harry really just like non-stop thinking about Draco. This is gonna be a hot take. I do not care about Ron's character growth in this book particularly. Good book, 4 out of 5. And last but certainly not least, number 7, we spend so long in the forest doing nothing in this book. My goodness, we couldn't have done something more interesting. Also, I am mirroring my husband's complaints for this one, but we only go to like the same places we've gone in this world. And I understand why, but I feel like there's a real missed opportunity here of not exploring some other magical things for the finale, but whatever. The Hallows and Horcrux subplot, I don't care. I really don't care what Dumbledore was doing with his life as a child. He is, let's remember, Harry, dead. So, move on. Hot take. Best end battle, though. The end of this book is so good, except for the epilogue. We pretend that that doesn't exist because Harry is literally the world's worst namer of children, and he should be banned from ever naming children, ever, or just things in general. I think he has stupid names. 3 out of 5. But barely. It barely earns that 3. On to the ranking. Again, let me remind you, my ranking, in my opinion, is the only correct one because I'm the only one speaking. And if you disagree with me, you can leave me a comment, but you'll be wrong. Number 3 is the best book, all right? You've got the best people in it. Lupin, amazing. You get the Marauders map and a whole bunch of backstory about Harry's dad. Super cool. Big fan of that. You get introduced to Sirius. Awesome, love that. Peter Pettigrew, who cares? But also you expand the world, you get to see some magical creatures, you get to see a lot more spells and how magic operates in the world while he's still learning and growing. It's kind of that turning point in the series, and I really appreciated it. It's a good one. Then is number 6. I think it has the best romance. It is pitiful in there, but I live for the romance. I'm just a girl, what can I say? And I like it. I also think this is the last book of their childhood. All right, number 6 is that last point where Hogwarts is still magical and it still can be considered home up until the end of the book. And before they have to be adults and go fight in that wizarding war. I think it's beautiful. I think that does that the best. It's that last moment of childhood and magic and wonder before the mirror is completely shattered and they have to step into those adult roles. Following that is number 4. I think 4 is the coolest because you're bringing in 2 other Wizarding World schools. You expand your world that much more. It opens the concept of there's wizards around the world. You get to see a lot more about that, hear a lot more about that. Also, Cedric Diggory, anyone? Big fan of that. It's unfortunate he dies. Had to happen. Then, number 5. I think that number 5, although it's not one of my favorite, has some redeeming qualities, right? Dumbledore's army. Umbridge, greatest villain ever. Who cares about Voldemort? But what does Voldemort want? Power to take over England? ? Umbridge, she's got goals. I respect a woman with a plan, all right? I get it. Then we have the first one. You have to put the first one kind of low. It is for children. I am in my 20s, so let's be honest. Kind of low on the totem pole for me. But it's still a good book, right? It's still got that magic, that whimsy. It introduces you to this beautiful magical world that everyone wanted to be a part of when they were 10. Second to last is number 7. Because it is so boring. We spend so long in the forest, we spend so long chasing Horcruxes, and then there's this whole other subplot with like, Dumbledore wasn't what he said he was. It's like, well, yeah, no duh, you knew him for like 5 years, Harry? You're fine, okay? Obviously you don't know this man who lived to, what, 150? Give or take a few years? Of course you don't know about this man's childhood. Also, how can you blame a dude? He was like 12. Let's go back to when you were 12 years old and look at those books. Do you think you made the right decisions, Harry? No, get over it. Oh my gosh, I have feelings and thoughts, apparently, about this. Lastly is the second one. I think the second one is the worst of the series. It's boring. Chamber of Secrets is cool. Ginny's in it, which is really cool, but she's like young, so who cares? Children, ugh. And I have to mark it down. I'm sorry, the giant spider scared the crap out of me. Not a big fan of snakes either, so it does introduce the concept of Horcruxes, but I don't know if J.K. Rowling knew she wanted to do Horcruxes when she wrote the second one, and it just feels like a sequel, right? It's the next book. You gotta read it to get to the next one. As a whole, Harry Potter is a great series, right? It's magical, it is fun. There are some beautiful, beautiful themes about love and sacrifice, and you kids learn a lot from it. Obviously, people really enjoy this series. There are some major plot holes in the books and in the story, but we're not going to get into that because plot armor can just solve anything. Didn't you know? We also just don't have time for that. But it is a wonderful series, and one of the reasons that Harry Potter has become so famous is because it helped revolutionize the young adult genre. Before Harry Potter, you had kids' books and you had adult books, but there weren't a lot of books for that middle group, right? That middle school and high school age. You didn't have a lot of books marketed to kids like that. It just wasn't a thing. I mean, yeah, you could go read Lord of the Rings, but let's keep in mind, Lord of the Rings was written in what, the 50s? Not exactly easy reads for kids. Teenagers. Sorry. Harry Potter helped revolutionize and kind of create that genre. You can argue this book did it first, this book did it first, whatever. Harry Potter made it stick. Let's debate my favorite part. Number one, first question. Is Harry Potter overhyped? I think it is overhyped by those who like it, but I think it deserves a lot of credit still. I think Harry Potter is an amazing series that can get kids interested in reading, which is so needed. We need kids to read more. And if Harry Potter is that gateway for them, then yes, it deserves all the credit. It deserves all the recognition. However, let's be honest, the franchise is kind of marketed anymore towards adults. There are still a lot of kids' things for it, and we'll get into this in a second, especially with the new reboot happening. But a lot of Harry Potter fans are adults. It's people my age. It's people a little older than me because they're the ones who grew up with Harry Potter. The books came out when they were 10, 11, however old, right? The movies were coming out when they were those ages as well. It's something they grew up with and they really identify with it. So, and think about going to the theme parks. A lot of the theme parks, Universal Studios, you go to Harry Potter World, it's adults everywhere. Sure, there's kids here and there because kids are in the world, they exist. But by and by, it's adults filling up these places and buying the merchandise and decorating their homes and having this and having that. And so I think it is overhyped by people who grew up with it, but I think it is still deserving of a lot of the recognition that it gets. Number two, and we kind of already talked about this, who is the franchise of Harry Potter now? Like I said, I think it's mostly adults who relate and who carry that franchise forward. It's not a lot of kids, you know? I think a lot of kids understand Harry Potter and it's still culturally relevant, but it is not the moment anymore. It is not what is trending. It is not huge as it was 15 years ago. Because think about it, the last movie came out over a decade ago, and that was the very end of the series. The craze, that the popularity peaked in mid-2000s. So it's kind of died down. It's no longer kids and 10-year-olds, preteens and teenagers driving that franchise forward. It's adults. It's Gen Z. It's millennials. It's that age group who have really connected with it and stuck with it. Number three, what will be the legacy of Harry Potter? I think, and I mean this from the very bottom of my heart, that Harry Potter will go down as classic literature. There's a difference, however, between classic literature like Little Women or Lord of the Rings and classic literature like Harry Potter, because Narnia can be considered classic literature, or Peter Pan, Treasure Island. Those are classic stories for a reason. They were revolutionary for their time, they have beautiful themes, and they're easy to digest. I think Harry Potter hits all of those qualities, not to mention it's popular. And it obviously it hasn't died. We're doing another reboot of it. So I think it's going to stick around for a while, and I think it will become kind of one of those staple at least the first one will become one of those staple books that every kid will end up reading. Number 4, are the movies good adaptations of Harry Potter? And this is going to lead right into number 5 and 6, talking about theme parks, are they necessary, and my thoughts and our general opinions about the new HBO reboot Harry Potter series, the TV series that they're doing. So let's start with the movies. The movies, I think, are faithful adaptations. It is so hard to make something that is originally in a written form and transcribe it for the screen. It is so difficult. There are elements that simply do not transfer over. It just can't happen. Your visualization and what you can imagine will be infinitely better than whatever they can put on a screen, because you have limitations when you are filming something. Acting wise, set wise, just physical limitations, not to mention time limits. You know, you don't want to sit down and watch something that's over 2.5 hours. Let's be honest. Movies need to stop being 3 hours long. That's ridiculous. Go back down to the 90-minute mark. Please, I beg of you. But I think the movies do a very, very faithful adaptation of the books. I think they're very well done. I especially appreciated that it's not the same director for every single movie, because the first and second movie have a very different feel than the third movie, which is good because they're very different, distinct years. It needs that. I think it really, really needed that, and I think it just added to the magic and added to the beauty of it. Also, they had some phenomenal child actors. Child actors are really hard to work with, and I understand. I think they did great as kids. We can talk about how they changed as adults, but I just don't want to, so I'm not going to. The 5th question was about the theme parks. Are the theme parks necessary? I mean, is anything really necessary? Like, at the end of the day, the books were good, the books were sufficient, and then we went and made movies, and now we have theme parks. Again, like I said, those parks are full of adults. It's a lot of grown-up people. I mean, it's a lot of teenagers still, and there are some kids, but the franchise is, like I said, mostly adult now. The 6th question here, am I looking forward to the new Harry Potter, or are you looking forward to the new Harry Potter HBO reboot series? No, absolutely not. I am starkly against this. I'm gonna get real passionate here, but I am not excited for it. I do not want to see it. It's the same thing with the Percy Jackson series when it came out. They were like, oh, we want to make it a more faithful adaptation and blah, 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 and then they didn't. You know why? Because maybe the original writer has that idea, the director doesn't, the production company doesn't, and the studio doesn't. They want to make money, and how do they do that? They change it to make it what they want. And I cannot bear to see Harry Potter do that. It's gonna break my heart to watch them change things. Why? Because it's a new audience, it's a more modern audience. The franchise, the fans of Harry Potter, it's not kids. It's the adults. It's the people who grew up with Harry Potter. So why are we making a reboot? We already had the movies. We were content with that. This reboot is like, oh, it's for the new audience. It's for the new kids. I don't care what the kids want. They're not the ones buying the books and all the merchandise and crap. They're not the ones driving this forward. They don't care. Also, when was the last time any of you guys talked to a 10-year-old? Have you asked them if they've read Harry Potter? A good majority is, no, but I think I've seen the movies. Kids don't care, right? The only people who are really going to be watching this are adults, and I can tell you right now they're not going to be happy because it's not going to be the same people that they grew up watching. It's not going to be the same inflections, the same tone of voice. I'm sorry. I'm getting really heated. I need to chill. But I mean, I watched the trailer, and in watching the trailer, I just had a laundry list of things I didn't like. I don't like how Hagrid sounds like that. That's not what Hagrid's supposed to look like. Why does Draco have TikTok hair? It looks like a bird's nest at the front of his face. I don't like it. I just had all these complaints about it, on and on and on and on. And I don't think that's a good way to start a reboot. I also think it's completely unnecessary. If you wanted to keep your copyright and keep your IP so dang bad, you should have done something else in the world instead of redoing what's already been done. Because you're not going to have the nostalgia factor for it. People are not going to care about these new actors. I don't care. Also, it's just rude. Don't put kids through this. Especially, like, those poor kids who have to grow up in the footsteps of Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. They did some iconic work there, and you're forcing that on a tiny little kid, not to mention the internet backlash that they get. Oh, I'm getting too heated again. I just think it's a waste of time. If you really wanted to keep your IP that bad, you should have done something else in the Wizarding world. They tried doing that with the Fantastic Beasts series, and then that whole, like, blew up in their face, and that's their own fault, but we're not going to get into that. But, you know, if you want to keep your IP, you could have done something with the Marauders, the First Order of the Phoenix, the founders of Hogwarts. You have so much in this world that you could have made a movie or a show about to keep your copyright license. You actively chose not to because it brings more eyes to your work if you do a reboot and just change it because you feel like it. And I think that's dishonest, and I think that's shoddy work, and I'm not a fan of it. Will I be hate watching it? Yes. Is that probably why they're doing it? 20,000%, yeah. To answer the last final question, after 20 plus years, is Harry Potter still worth it? And I think honestly it is. This Harry Potter was one of my gateways into reading. I loved it. I fell in love with the magic. I fell in love with transporting myself to a different place, thinking I could be more than I was, of seeing a bigger and a better version of my world. I loved it, and I think that there's some very good value in that for kids, and I think we should be introducing them to this and to that love. Overall, I think Harry Potter is still worth it. I think it's overhyped by a lot of people. I think it still deserves a lot of credit. It has done so much for so many different people. And is it going to be everybody's favorite series in the world? No, that's okay. But I encourage everybody to at least read the first book. And if you don't love it, you don't love it. But you can say you've read it and you can say, yeah, I understand. It's a cute story, nonetheless. So there you go. Those are my thoughts and opinions 20 years after Harry Potter came out. 20 plus years reading and loving it. If you think I'm wrong on any of these questions, too bad, I'm right. Now, go ahead and debate me in the comments below. Like, ask your own questions if you want to clarify anything. What do you think about my questions? Do you think my opinions are fair? Do you have different rankings? I'm sure you have different rankings. Not everybody loves the same books that I do, and I understand that. That's all right. And do you think Harry Potter will stand the test of time? Is it one of those series and books that will go down in history, in literature history? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Like it if you liked the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks!